What up, what up, what up? Good afternoon. I was going to say good morning. Welcome back to another episode of The Boss Life with Bonds. I am your host, Siobhan Bonds, Coach Bonds, as it says on the back of this sweater. And we're going to talk a lot. We're going to talk a little bit today about that, right? The whole coach, is she a coach thing. Finding balance, finding clarity, and finding rhythm in your life, in your business, and just as a person, as a human. So before I get started, I do want to remind you guys that the Self-Healing Summer Series is started. It is a virtual learning experience. It's going to be via email. We're going to be recording videos on YouTube, so you'll have a super secret YouTube playlist to go ahead and watch the trainings on them. They'll be a little bit shorter since they're not going to be live workshop classes. And my intention is to show you not necessarily the path to self-healing, but what you can anticipate, modalities that have helped me, modalities that have helped coaches, and just kind of shed some light on it, and also remind you that it is an ongoing process. And the point of doing this inner work is so that you can have improved relationships, so that you can have improved experiences in your life, so that you can have more confidence, so that you can show up as your highest and fullest self. Because at the end of the day, or at the beginning of the day, there are a lot of adults, there are a lot of grown-ass adults who are running around still living life as the wounded child, who are still living life as the rebellious and rejected teen, who are still living life as the confused 20-something-year-old. And a lot of people are just living as the shell of a version of the person that they should be. I know what that's like. I've seen it. I've seen it in people 50, 60, 70 years old. I've seen it in people 20, 30 years old. And my intention as a guide, as a leader, as a mentor, as a facilitator, and yes, as a fitness coach, is to help lead as many people who are either awakened or wanting to be awakened to this next level of living, to this highest expression of themselves. And I've been teeter-tottering on how I want to present this message that I feel has been placed on my heart, like that is my calling, because there are some people who, when they talk about, when they hear words like highest self, mindset motivation, manifestation, success motivation, all this stuff, they say like it's bullshit, it's garbage, it's there's nothing but hard work, or it's nothing but what you see in front of you. Like, don't get caught up daydreaming. Affirmations get you all worked up for nothing, like all this other jazz. And I want to tell you, like, I am a product of someone who has done the work, who's done success motivation, who's done the manifestation, who's done all the things. And the reason why it may appear to some people to be a waste of time, the reason why it may appear to only take some people so far, is that what got you here won't get you there. And a lot of times we're stuck in neutral trying to do the same things that got us to one level of success and achievement in our life. And when it's time to take that leap and go to the next level, we don't want to do it. And so then you start to look around and get a little grouchy, or become a little judgy of the people who are doing it. Or you just create these stories in your head that help you feel good about where you're at. And it's kind of like drinking after work, or smoking, or eating. Like, these things make you feel good about where you're at, but they're also not doing anything to get you to where you want to be. So my focus this month for the Self-Healing Summer Series is to help people who are wanting to take that path, and showing them what it looks like, showing them the realistic side of healing, how it's not one class, it's not one book, it's not one Tony Robbins conference, it's not one real successful month in your business, or one real successful year in your life. It is a continual peeling back of the onion, and coming face to face with the best and the worst versions of yourself, and learning how to integrate all of them. It's learning that manifestation is not BS, but if things that you are trying to manifest and call into your life aren't coming, it's not because it's BS. It has more to do with the level of you that is still living in the past, while still trying to call forth really heavy, powerful manifestations in the future. And for me, I can attest to watching the power of manifestation work in my life, watching the power of intense, focused, and a belief that I'm worthy of these things, and calling them into my life effortlessly. And then all of a sudden watching it stop working, and wondering like, oh, it's BS. And I'm like, is it though? Because it brought me this far. So is the process BS, or is it me falling into a little bit of a lull? So these are things that you don't always get answered by our favorite TikToker who showed us how to manifest. These are things that don't always get answered by a business coach that taught you how to do the outward strategy of doing A, B, C, D EFG in your business, but not about the back end of what happens to you emotionally, internally, as a multifaceted human being with a soul, with trauma, with memories, with triggers, with nervous system memory, right? You have muscle memory. Well, your nervous system also has memory too. And that's what trauma is. It is stored memories in your nervous system that are on your automatic nervous system now, not your automatic nervous system, that are part of your subconscious. Like, this is what we do when this happens. This is how we respond in similar situations. And so if you've been unable to break those triggers with hypnosis, or break those triggers by just shouting affirmations, the self-healing summer series is going to guide you through how to work through those things on your own. So if you are a lady, I do want to invite you into our Facebook group. It's Fierce, Fearless, and Feminine. This is the new and improved version of the Boss Up Lifestyle community. Same mission, women being both, right? Us lifting weights, taking care of our body, eating well, but then also tapping into our feminine energy, being the healers, being the nurturers, being the magnetic just balls of energy that we are created to be, and life forces on this planet. So if you're into working out, if you're into a little bit of hippie shit, and you're into really tapping into your full potential as a female, join the Fierce, Fearless Female Collective. That is a Facebook group, and it will be in the show notes, and we can also drop that here live on Facebook. So getting into today's topic of finding balance, clarity, and rhythm in your life. A lot of us that were on the internet from 2020 till now saw a surge of a lot of motivational speakers, a lot of online coaches, a lot of people talking about scaling your businesses, changing your life, this is that, and the other. Some of us chose to hit the pause button in our life and relax, because we've been going so very fast our whole life. And for COVID, some of us actually took advantage of all that coaching and all that motivation and slowed down and focused on ourselves and really grew. Some of us slowed down and ended up getting depressed and went backwards. There's no shame there. Some of us created more wealth than we had ever experienced in our lives in a short amount of time during COVID. And none of those is right or wrong, right? That's your life experience. But what I want to put a magnifying glass on today is this concept of, we hear it all the time, work-life balance. And so we'll start with balance. When you think of balance, I think a lot of you have this picture of everything being consistently perfect every day, all day. I go to work and I leave my work stress at home. I come home and I am present with my kids. I am with my significant other and I'm present with them. And boom, everything is compartmentalized in these cute little boxes and nothing ever touches the other. I just got like a little download about that I hadn't planned on speaking on. And the compartmentalization of our lives is a very patriarchal concept. It's got a lot of masculine undertones to it. This is neither good nor bad. I'm just noticing how this idea that when you go to work, you just leave everything at the door, which I think for company, for business, like that makes sense. But then when you come home, you're supposed to leave everything at work and not bring it home and be very present with your family, which again, as a parent, this makes sense. Yeah, you don't want to bring your work stresses home to your kids. And then you have, with your significant other, don't bring your work stresses to them. Guys, if you're watching this live, big lips are a lot of maintenance. I talk about this a lot, but like, they really are such maintenance. Like, it's so hard having big lips. Okay, we're back. But this idea of balance, that's what I think a lot of us have in our head. And I know this because when I'm talking with the clients in the mind and body community, or women in general, who, when I ask them what's your biggest struggle with reaching your goals, they're like, consistency, right? And I look at them and I'm like, okay, so you drank some water this day, you did some walk that day, and you worked out this day. And granted, this sort of all over the place workouts isn't going to get you a freaking, drastic transformation in 16 weeks or even 20 weeks at this rate. However, if you look at where you started at, where you weren't drinking any water, where you weren't taking any walks, and you weren't working out at all, you've actually made some serious improvements. And if this is what you can do in the state where you're at in your life right now, this is balance. This is you not going too hard to where you're gonna just say F everything. This is your state of balance. And I think that once you found your state of balance, then you're able to move forward and add other things. We've actually started updating our clients' programs to reflect that. Because sometimes we would start off, before what we would do is we would start off, if you're a basic member, if you're an OG member, you get 3 sets of goals: a water goal, a step goal, and then like a morning mindset routine goal to hit every day. And what was happening was people would join that are brand new and look at them and think, I have to do all of this right now, and I have to do my workouts, and I have to hit my nutrition goal. And before they even give themselves a starting chance, they quit. And it's like, balance for you may be, I'm going to do my workout today. I probably won't get all those steps in, but at least I did my workout. I'm going to drink my water today. I'm going to make sure I log my food. I may not get my workout in, but at least I did those two. That to me is what balance is. Like, okay, I may not be able to go, like, I put all of those things in the category of health. And if I can do 1 or 2 things every single day for my personal health, whether that's physical, mental, and emotional, which I try to get all 3 in, but again, that took time. But if I can do that, then that is the balance, right? Because when you zoom out and you look at your life in those compartments, you got your personal life, you have your professional life, and then you have your domestic life. But your personal is you, and that will be your health, your mind, body, and soul health. And if you can do something, one thing every day for it, over time, it will start to become who you are, and it will start to become more natural. Versus trying to hit the ground running and be this all-star, super healthy woman who does everything all the time, even though you just started. Like, that's insane. And yet that's what we do. And that's a definition of balance that we put in our heads. Because again, we have this patriarchal idea of everything has to be compartmentalized. And again, if you're running a business, as a business owner, I can see how telling your employees, check your stuff at the door, is helpful, especially when you're trying to grow and scale. But what we're seeing is a deconstruction of some of these paradigms where companies are being a little bit more lenient, where companies are treating people like humans and not just workers. And I think that with that, we're going to see a shift in this whole everything has to be compartmentalized. I don't know what that's going to look like. I know that there's still a necessity for structure because you can't just be fucking free for all. You can't have your employees coming in every day, bringing their problems to you, crying all over the place. But what I am noticing is that we are learning to be a little bit more fluid in who we are. And I'm going to wrap up the balance part with this. John Maxwell, one of my favorite personal development, life and business coaches, leadership coaches, he said, forget work-life balance. He said, work-life harmony. And I think what I just described to you about if you can't hit all of these, at least hit one, that to me is what it looks like, harmony. When I tried to put boundaries in my life as an entrepreneur, like, okay, I don't answer client texts after 8 p.m. I'm like, but what if they say something really funny in the Facebook group? Do I just not respond because I'm not supposed to be contacting my clients after 8? That's awkward. That puts up walls between them and me. And now they don't know if they can reach out to me when they do need stuff, right? Oh, I don't answer calls on the weekends. It's like, okay, but what if you're actually in, your fitness app and you're responding to clients because that's when you're working, right? So I'm leaning away from this whole like structured only Monday through Fridays when I can do work or only before 8. Like I can't live like that. Like that's too much for me. For me, balance looks like, do I have the energy and the space to do it, right? Like putting some boundaries up, but then also having balance. Like I really feel like connecting with my client right now. I'm going to respond to them even though it's 10 p.m. at night or whatever makes the most sense for you. Hey, I know I said I'm only going to work out in the mornings, but I'm sitting here watching TV. I could just, do some leg extensions, which is literally just letting your legs go like this while you're sitting down and squeezing your quads, working your quads. That's an exercise, right? So balance to you is what's going to give you where you feel like you're in a good space and you're still making progress. Okay, that's balance to me, is harmony. Forget balance, forget perfection, work on harmony. Number 2, clarity. I saw a post today talking about the levels of manifestation, right? And the first one is always deciding and like defining and declaring. Decide, define, declare, or clarify, getting clarity around what it is that you want. When I used to struggle with manifesting things, or even to this day, when I'm struggling with calling in something into my life, a specific goal, a specific partnership, business-wise, relationship, opening doors, opportunities, those sort of things, when I'm having a hard time calling them in, it's usually because what I'm calling in is not super clear to me what I want, or it's not congruent with what I want most. This is such an important concept of having clarity around what you want. I stumbled so much and made so many mistakes my first 2 years as a business owner because I had my eye on a prize that was not my true desire. I had my eye. I mean, I definitely, the apartment, yes, that was my true desire. Everybody knows I wanted to live in this neighborhood the moment they started building it. I was like, oh my God, it looks so pretty. Oh my God, it looks like a resort. Oh my God, it's on the water. Oh my God. Ah! And the gym's over the water. How freaking beautiful is that? Like, I knew I wanted to live here. We were clear on that, crystal clear. But when it came to the outcomes that I wanted for my life, for my business, for my brand, I was not clear. And if you've been watching, you probably been like watching me like make so many shifts and transitions. And I'm going to come back to clarity on a moment, but a little segue, a little side note. Don't be afraid to evolve. Don't be afraid to become different versions of yourself, because a lot of us don't try new things because we're so afraid that people are going to judge us. Oh, she's doing hip hop workout now. Oh, I thought she was doing barre before. Oh, she's selling Mary Kay now. I thought she was selling this before. Who gives a fuck? Like, again, this whole patriarchal idea that like this is what you do, you pick one thing, you go do it, you stick with it your whole life, and will and determination, and you work at the same job for 40 years, and boom, one day you'll make enough money to retire. For the person or the people whose primary human need is stability and what's the word I'm looking for? Not stability. It's one of those Tony Robbins four human needs. Consistency. Mine is my human core need for my personality is inconsistency and variety. So that's why entrepreneurship works well for me, even though it gives me a heart attack. But some of us, we're not built that way to pick one thing and stick with it. And if you're a female, I know you can relate that it is very hard to just pick one thing and do it day in and day out with no changes whatsoever. Some of us are wondering why we don't feel very powerful in our own skin, why we don't know what our calling is, why we don't know what our powers are as a woman. And it's because you've been put in this box where you get to do the same thing day in, day out, very little variety, very little fun. I asked some women, what do you like to do for fun? And they're like, what? It's like, well, I eat cookies. Or I watch, romance movies, or I read romance novels. And I'm not knocking on eating cookies. I'm not knocking on reading romance novels. But it's like, does that light your soul on fire, eating a cookie? Does watching other people on a TV show make love, that light your soul on fire? And if it does, great. But I'm also here to remind you that you get to get real crystal clear on what actually would light your fire, not what you've accepted, not what you have enough energy left over for after your soul sucking job, or your soul sucking, I'm just going to stick and play the safe role and do it, how everyone told me I should life. Now, hear me out. I'm not calling everyone to entrepreneurship. Fuck no. Like, I'm definitely not doing that. I'm not saying quit your job, start a business, risk it all. Please don't do that. Please do not do that. What I am saying, though, is that knowing that you spend 8 to 10 hours a day doing something that you probably aren't head over heels for, that you don't enjoy, this is where play comes in. This is where pleasure comes in. The songs that joke around, girls just want to have fun, it's kind of true. You have no idea how much playing and pleasure can bring out the clarity about what you want most in life. If you haven't heard this story before, I'll condense it. I've been waiting tables for 15 years, was so tired of, I got my degree in ministry. I thought I was going to go and be this freaking pastor of a mega church, because that's what I grew up in. And the pastors were like superstars, and they got to travel and speak at places, and they got to, deliver their message. And wasn't that they were rich necessarily, but they had, it seemed like a decent way to live. I was like, wow, I can speak, I can help change lives, and I can live a happy, peaceful life. Right. And then that didn't work out. I was like desperate to prove that I could do something besides wait tables. So I started working at the Hilton Grand Vacations call center, selling vacation packages for timeshares, because all my other friends are doing it and they're making crazy commissions. But you guys know me, I can't sell something I don't believe in. So that didn't work out very well. And I just remember like killing myself at this job, 40 hours, never had a 9 to 5 before. So I'm already like out of my element, going to the same place at the same time every single day. Oh my God, what? Serving, you can work 2 days a week. You can work 7 shifts. Like, it was all over the place. Loved it, hated it, loved it. But I wasn't making any money. I was stuck in this very like routine thing, answering calls every day, saying the same thing over and over again. And what's worse was I wasn't making any money because I wasn't good at selling those packages. I didn't believe in them. And it wasn't until a friend of mine, my best friend, came down and we had a tradition of going to Halloween Horror Nights every year because he used to be a character. And we went to Halloween Horror Nights. I remember it. And I was floating around. We got a hotel room because I still worked at Universal part-time. Amazing benefits, amazing company. And I remember just being in one of the floats at Cabana Bay, spinning around like, wow, I get to be here at this, like a hotel that people save up to come take their family to, thousands of dollars. And I got this room for $50. And I also can go play at the parks whenever I want. Even if the park shut down, I can take my employee ID card and walk through Harry Potter Land empty by myself if I want to. How cool is that? And I started to get real clear about what it was that I wanted to experience in my life. And I realized that I didn't care anymore whether or not I had this fancy job title or got to dress up and look like an adult, because that's really was something to me. I was like, look at me, I'm wearing adult clothes. Like, I realized I didn't care about any of that anymore. I cared about having the freedom and the flexibility to travel, which I had when I was serving. I cared about having the freedom and the flexibility to work as many days or as few days as I wanted to. And I cared about being able to feel like I was making an impact in people's lives. And so even though Hilton also had great benefits, like as depressed as I was at that time in my life, I had Hilton discounted hotels for $50. I had Universal, I had all this stuff. So I was like, you know what? What's most important to me is feeling good in my life. Whether I have on an apron and I'm asking someone how they want their steak, doesn't matter. I had money to support my family and the freedom and the flexibility to do so. And in that moment, I got clarity. And I went back to the job that I had been complaining and hating. And from there, everything started to turn around because I got clarity about what I wanted most. And some of us are walking through life trying to, like I said, the first one, balance, trying to balance all these things that we either don't really want or we're not giving ourselves the grace and the space to fully integrate them in a timely manner. We are pursuing goals, aggressively pursuing goals that are not in align with who we want to be and with who we are. And that can result in burnout. That can result in feeling like, why am I even doing this? And so taking the time to find to slow down for a little bit, to have that play, right? Because play is super important. I took that weekend to play, to hang out at Halloween Horror Nights, to hang out at the resort. And in that play and in that downtime, I was able to really realize what it is that I wanted most for my life and stop caring about whether or not I was still just a waitress. And that's when my life turned around. When I got crystal clear about what I wanted most and when I stopped caring about what other people would think about me. So for the woman that's afraid to start another workout plan or another side hustle or another job or another phase of your self-evolution, I want to remind you, it's nobody's business how many stages it takes you to go through for you to find your true self. Nobody was there with you from day one when you started going through everything that would lead you to where you are today. Nobody can understand the full spectrum of who you are. And so it's crazy to expect someone on social media, friends, or even family to expect them to understand everything that you're going through. And that's not your job. It's not your job to make sure that everybody understands the stages of your evolution. It's your job, however, to be tapped in and tuned in to what life is trying to teach you about yourself so that you can slow the fuck down and you can listen and get the clarity about where you want to go. Things start to get so much easier. The desires start to manifest so much more effortlessly when you have clarity about what you want instead of what other people want for you. So going back to what I was saying in the beginning about my business, I struggled and I suffered so much because I was pursuing goals that my business coaches had placed on me. And I appreciate them challenging me because Lord knows we will stay exactly where we are if we don't have someone calling us to a higher level and reminding us that we're capable of more. Like, God bless them. But at the same time, it's very important for you to get clear about what you want. I know far too many people who are still in memberships and coaching communities. And I'm like, you don't even want to be an online fitness coach. And like, you want to be a yoga instructor and open your own studio, but you're afraid to leave this community because you've been a part of it for so long. there are women who I've even had in my community who realize like, hey, Bonnie, I don't ever really want to be a gym rat. And I'm like, yeah, this is probably not the group for you. Like there are so many other supportive communities for women that only want to do home workouts or women that only want to do Pilates and yoga. And I love that. Go find that. But get clear about what you want. And then the universe can like answer your request, right? It's only when I get clear about what I want, when God's like, oh my God, she finally got it now. Here you go. Here's the door. Here's the opportunity. Here's this snap, because now you're pursuing it from a place of alignment, of mind, body, and soul alignment, from your heart's desire, not from the place of should. We talk about that a lot. The whole should factor. I should be doing this. I should be doing more. No, what do you desire to do? Because when you get clear about what it is that you actually desire, and you stop denying yourself of this and making up these bullshit ass lies like, well, I won't be able to achieve that, I don't deserve that, I haven't had enough experience this, I wouldn't know what to do if I got that, I would mess it up once I got it. Once you like kind of separate yourself from all of those other factors and just get crystal clear about what it is that you want, yes, this is what I want, the universe is like, heard. I said I wanted to be a reality TV star, and I forgot about that. Like I put that in my manifesting morning mantra back in 2021. And in that time, I have been contacted by at least 5 different reality TV shows. I've only been on one so far, and I just got another request for a comedian, a very famous comedian, to do their reality TV show. And I'm just like thinking, I'm like, wow, it's so funny how I tried to hide away from like wanting to be a celebrity. I tried to hide away from wanting those things for myself because I didn't want to look vain. But that was my real desire. And as long as I kept pretending like that wasn't what I wanted, everything that I was trying to pursue because I should, it was so much harder for me because I didn't really fucking want it. But once I started getting clear with the universe about what I want, I was like, yeah, I want to be known in my city. I want people to know me in Orlando. I want to be a reality star. I want to have a strong, supportive community. I want to have my podcast topping charts. It's like, okay, now we'll get to it. But as long as I was setting my sights on, well, I just want to be a 6-figure coach, I just want to be a 7-figure coach, like that comes with me meeting my personal desires. Like that's like the bonus. Some people, that's their number one motivation and it works for them. But for me, that has never been the driver of my success. And that's why I did so poorly doing vacation sales, because telling me, oh, you'll make this much money at the end of the week, it's like, yeah, but is this helping? Is this impacting lives? Do I feel like I have the flexibility and the freedom to do what I want? No, I feel like if I don't do this exact way every single day, I won't, reach my goals. And that does not motivate me. I need to have freedom and flexibility with how I reach my goals. And I also need to have my eyes set on what I actually desire. So take a moment and think about how you have maybe told yourself you were a failure, or maybe you've told yourself that achieving this certain goal was really, really hard and it was out of your reach. And I want you to think, was this goal something that you actually desired? Or is it something that you felt you should be desiring? I should be in better shape. Well, do you actually desire to be in better shape? Because if you did, I promise you, nobody would have to force you to work out. Do you actually desire to have a successful online fitness coaching business? Or is this where all the hype is around and you feel like this is where you should be a part of it? Do you really desire to, and insert whatever it is that you're working hard towards that's not coming to you, as seamlessly as you think, and ask yourself, is this even something that I really desire? And if it's not, I dare you. If you need this meditation, I have a meditation I made. It's called the Heart's Desire one, and it's a part of the Exponential Abundance Masterclass, which is like I would say an introduction to spirituality and manifestation, specifically for those of us that come from a religious background, and with a lot of shame and a lot of guilt and a lot of like just weird feelings around abundance and money. It's a great course. But if you want just that meditation, Heart's Desire, shoot me a DM, or if you're here live, comment Heart's Desire, and I'll try to get that, over to you. We'll get that over to you. But when you get clear about what you want, when you allow yourself to desire what you really want, you would be surprised at how quickly your life changes. But us women specifically, we don't allow ourselves to desire things. We guilt ourselves into it. We should be more selfless. My kids come first. My family comes first. And it's like, well, okay, Just make sure it's coming from a place of, I really want those people to come first, and not I'm doing this because I feel like I should. When you do stuff from should energy, it never comes back with the blessing you thought it would give you. That's why a lot of you, or that's why a lot of us tend to have jaded emotions towards friends and opening up to people and relationships, because we were the good friend, we were the good girlfriend, we were the good wife, we were the good Christian, we were the good person, like we should be, expecting the universe to be like, oh, well, here you go. And it's not like that. The universe all along is like, what do you desire? Because here's something someone may need to hear. What's in alignment for you is also in alignment for me. Meaning, if you feel like, I'll just use this as a very clear example. If you feel called to work with me as your mentor and as your guide, someone says they can't hear me on Instagram. I wonder if my headphones are still on. Well, slide on over, since this is a live podcast recording, you can check the podcast out when it's on the thing. I'm also live on Facebook as well. There's someone that has been here the whole time and never wrote that they couldn't hear me, so I wonder why that is. Anywho, this is why I don't respond captions or comments, because I get so sidetracked. What's in alignment for you is also in alignment for me. So if you feel like you are called to come like work with me, then it's probably in alignment for me as well. Let me give you a better example. When I have a call scheduled with a client and I'm running behind, or they're running behind, usually the other person is also running behind, and it's perfect timing. So like, I'll message someone like, hey, I'm actually running behind on my calls, 10 minutes. Can we push it back? And they're like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. Me too. So it's just one little like very superficial way, or the proof that what's in alignment for you is also in alignment for someone else, or for the universe, for everyone, because we're all connected. Another one would be something like, dude, I had a really good one in my head too. When I take clients through my 12-week program, the one, like the signature course that I've been doing for years, like the backbone of the business, there's certain sessions that cover certain topics, and whether I skip that session because that client didn't need it, or they skipped it because they didn't, come to the call that week, wherever we do pick back up in the curriculum with them, it's always exactly what that person needed and what they had been experiencing that week. Because when you're in alignment with someone, like, you'll be in alignment with them. And so what's in alignment for you is also in alignment for me. Another good example, I've had to let some of my original co-founders, I had to let them like leave the team or step down or take a break. And because I saw things going on in their life that they were never going to speak up about, that they were never going to be like, hey, because they really wanted to show up for me. But in them self-sacrificing, doing what they felt they should do, in them doing that, it was hurting not only our relationship and the business, but it was also hurting them. And I had to make the tough choice, like, hey, circle back to this when you have more time. Circle back to this when you are able to handle your jank, right? And what ended up happening was, for every person that happened to, they went on to really get some amazing things done in their own personal life, whether it was inner work, whether it was healing, whether it was getting back on track physically, mentally, emotionally, whether it was paying attention to pieces of their family, whatever it was in alignment for them. Everything worked out because what was in alignment for them, which was to step down and take a break, was also very much in alignment with me and the business, where it was doing all of us more harm than good. So getting clear about what you want will never, ever be a bad thing. Getting clear about what you want is always going to help not just you, but the people around you. And then last but not least, rhythm. I think that rhythm goes into the whole balance situation. And whoever's watching on Instagram, if you can't hear me, you're an OG, because you've been here this whole time, and getting feedback that they can't hear on this end, but they can hear on Facebook. So you can slide on over to Facebook and check this out too. But you can also just come back and check out the podcast. I think that it's because my headphones were still on from when I was working out this morning, and I don't really know how to turn them off, and it's too late anyways. But when it comes to rhythm, finding the pace that's going to work for you is going to be super key to your longevity in any of the above. Learning that pace, learning when to hit the gas and when to hit the brakes. I'm in a stage right now in my business where I am hitting the gas on a lot of things because I had been hitting the brakes. I've been very relaxed. I know on the front side, like with social media, it looks like, oh, I'm always going. I can pump out content in my sleep. That's not me going hard or going home. Me going hard or going home in the background is doing a lot of back end work to set up for the next season. And I'm able to do that because I know that in a few months I'm going to be able to relax and calm down. I know that at the end of the year I don't really do that much. For November, December, we're not working that much. We're planning for next year. We're assessing what went well and what didn't, but I'm not grinding that hard. So right now, while everybody else is taking a summer relaxation, coming down to Florida, playing in my homeland, I am not playing in my homeland. I am preparing to finish strong this year. And that's the rhythm that works for me. You have to find your rhythm. Stop trying to fit it into these boxes that weren't meant for you. I tell women with weight loss all the time, you're over here stressing about your BMI when your BMI isn't even real. Your BMI is an outdated metric that was created for the majority of the population in America back then, which was white males. And if you're working with me, you're probably not a male. You might be. I have a few guy clients, but you're probably not a male. You're probably not a white male. So stop trying to fit your body composition into BMI, which is something that isn't even made for you. And if you are a fierce and fearless feminine woman who wants to be more awakened to her divine feminine, awakened to her spiritual giftings, wants to feel more fierce and not muffled, wants to feel more fearless and not frightened about everything, chances are trying to fit into the way society has told us to be thus far is not working for you. So find the balance for you, which is going to look more like having harmony. Get crystal mother trucking clear about what it is that you truly want, not what you think you should be doing. You'll never find success and happiness from doing something you should be doing. That's why I ran out of nursing school. After I fought to do nursing school, I ran out of there because I knew that I'd never be happy doing the safe route for me, because I always would want to be doing something like this where I have the freedom and the flexibility to move and come and go as I please. And then work on that rhythm, knowing that there will be seasons where you are hitting the gas, and then there'll be seasons where you got to hit the brakes. You will be an unstoppable force of nature when you get to the point where you're able to figure out and gauge which version of you needs to show up, the sprinter or the marathon runner. So guys, that's it for today. That's a podcast. I hope that you enjoyed today. And if you did, I would love some feedback on what stuck out to you the most. Again, if you're looking for a community where we talk about all things health, fitness, nutrition, women's health, and of course, feminine embodiment, be sure to join the Fierce, Fearless Feminine Collective. We are on Facebook. If you are on Facebook, you can find this link in the bottom of the show on this episode in the caption. If you're listening to me on Apple Podcast or on Spotify, the link will be in the show notes. And if you're interested in joining that summer-long self-healing series with a video learning component, you can go ahead and comment interested or shoot me a DM with your email, and we'll go ahead and add you to that email list. If you are already subscribed to our emails and you have, like, Mama, I know you requested it, you don't have to, but if you are subscribed to the emails and I don't know that you want to be a part of it, you got to let me know because it's a super secret one. So that is all that I have for you guys today. I will see you again on Friday. We love you guys to the moon and back. Have the best beautiful day of your entire lives. Peace.